class is complete. And honestly, I was feeling kind of freaking tired when I got home. Laid down for a minute. But I knew for a fact if if I laid down for a little bit too long, then I would just pass out. And I'd probably wake up at like it's 2:40 now. I'd probably would have woken up at like 6. And then I'd be like, "Ah, shit. All right, well now I got to go lift later, and I haven't eaten any meals cuz I just took like a 4-hour nap." That would have been fucking stupid. So, it's best practice, at least in my opinion. If you get back from work, if you get back from school or whatever random stuff you got to do, and you kind of have the rest of the night, free to your own devices, you can do whatever you want. I don't know. I always like just getting in the car, taking the pre, and then going to start the lift first. Because it is alluring, right? It's very comfortable to fucking just lay down on the couch after school or whatever. I mean, for me, last year of school, if anybody was still curious about that, don't worry, I'm not in high school. We're talking about, college. But, you get home from work, whatever. Dude, it's nice to just fucking fall asleep. But come on, you still got some shit to do. By the time you actually get in the car, plus if you take a pre with stims in it, then you should kind of also get a little bit of a jolt. Even then, even sometimes after I do all that, my drive to the gym, I park in the parking lot, whatever, I'll still be a little bit tired on some instances, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely had the thought before cross my mind, like, I need to just go back home. I need to just go to sleep. Like this, that's only if I go to the gym at like, 1 in the morning or something. I've had the thought, I've definitely had the thought before of just hightailing out of there and going back home and getting some sleep. But I don't think I've ever acted on it. By the time you actually get in there, you do a little warm up. You say hi to some of your buddies, whatever. You do your first couple of warm up sets, and then as long as you got some music on and you actually go hard for your first set, your ass should be totally fucking awake. So that is my thought on the matter when it comes to timing your lift. I may as well get it done first and then chill for the rest of the night. But early lift for me today. This is nice. The sun is still up, and it's actually still going to be up by the time the lift is over too. So I have as much time as I need to destroy legs. Typically that's how I like it. I want to have more time scheduled in my day for the lift than is actually necessary, just because I don't like being rushed. I don't want to have to speed up my sets or reduce my rest periods. I want to do the whole lift at my own pace, which, for one muscle group, I don't think it should take longer than 45 minutes. Like when I have just chest, that's about 45 minutes. When I have legs, this is probably going to be an hour and a half, maybe a little bit longer, because it's 2 muscle groups, right? Hamstrings and quads. So usually by the time I've kind of caught my breath, it's been maybe 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Depends on the set. Like squats, I'll rest a little bit longer, but leg extensions, I don't need that much time. But that's kind of how I go about it. I never mess with having a timer, like a little stopwatch. I just never saw the appeal. But maybe that's just because nobody that I watched or no one that I kind of like took advice from did that. Just took a couple of minutes, caught their breath, and then hit their next set. So I've never had a problem with like taking too long before I do my set, or with jumping into a set too soon. I guess I kind of just have the sweet spot hit. So when it comes to rest periods, that's my approach. Catch my breath, hit it as soon as possible. So enough generalized lifting talk. What the hell is going to happen with legs today? So probably just seated hamstring curls, as well as maybe some machine RDLs. And then legs. Yeah, I fucking like squatting after a couple sets of leg extensions. I don't know why I haven't been doing this all along. Like, I've been squatting first. Well, I guess I know why. It's because in my mind, I want to be perfectly prepared, super strong, fresh and squat a ton of weight. But yeah, I think being warm from doing a couple sets of leg extensions first, I like it. You know, I can even squat, you know, heavy after 4 sets of leg extensions, and I just feel kind of more stable. Must be because I've already got a little bit of quad pump going. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be the layout of quads too. Just a couple sets of leg extensions, and then more than likely barbell squats, but you know, maybe I'll get some other stuff going too. I'm not really exactly sure. So I guess we'll just have to freaking see. I will do some calves and adductors at the end, whether or not I actually clip them to be determined. But I think that's pretty much all I got to say. Let's just fucking get in there. So, as predicted, seated hamstring curls. I'll do the first couple of sets kind of slow, controlled, hold the bottom of it. But, you know, once I kind of get too fatigued to actually hold it, I'll just burn out some partials. So nothing else to say other than that. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's do 2 more and see how I feel. But honestly, I kind of just want to do only seated hamstring curls for hamstrings today. Yeah. Let's just do 2 more right here like that. I mean, for whatever reason today, this machine is just clicking. So, you know, I could do some RDLs, but I don't think it'll feel as good as this right now. So 2 more and then quads. Okay. Oh, all right. So not the most complicated workout, but even just standing up, it almost feels hard to straighten my legs all the way because my hamstrings are so fucking pumped. Hard to beat the basics, at least with fucking hamstrings. So let's go find a leg extension, get warmed up, and bust out a couple of working sets pre-squats. Okay, so I was about to do the first set as like just as heavy as I could go, single leg, but I think I'd probably be better off doing just the stack with both legs and then start off with more of a light squeezing set. I mean, obviously not light, but light enough where I can do a rep and hold it for a moment. So I'll make the set difficult in that way. And then once I've done that, maybe the next set I'll do single leg really heavy. I'll just go by feel, but probably 3 or 4 here, and then we can find a rack and start loading up some real shit for squats. There we go. I lied. Let's no. Single leg heavy for the next one. That's good. Yeah, let's do 2 more like that. And then I should be properly pre-exhausted for squats. Okay. One more. I think that's enough of that. Oh, let's take a moment and then see what we can throw around squat-wise. Oh my goodness. I lost mental focus on that last rep. That's why I only did a half. I'm going to take a few minutes, collect my breath, and try to repeat that as hard as possible for a couple more times. Oh my God. Come on. Ah! Oh. I may have been slightly overambitious with that weight, but I felt very comfortable underneath of it. Whew, that's enough of this. That is enough of this. Let's go back to leg extensions. This is going to be a solid-ass quad pump. So I say let's go back to leg extensions. Really, I mean, let's sit down for a couple minutes. Yeah. If I would have just stayed at like 455 and did a set of 10 and then re-racked it, I probably would have done one more set of squats. But I think part of me only moved on because I didn't want to unrack all that, load it, and then re-rack it all. So 2 sets of leg extensions would be a good finisher. Let's just do 1 set double leg, really squeeze, and then maybe I'll finish with some single leg stuff. I'll find out in a moment. Yeah, let's finish with single leg. Okay. Quads is fucking done, man. That last set wasn't like, throw around so-and-so amount of weight to hit failure. It was really just set until, my own satisfaction with how my quads felt. So lightish weight, really burn them out, and I feel like they're fully fucking pumped. Let's go see how they look. So that was a fucking badass leg day. Sometimes I feel as though I sort of get in the zone for the lift. And what I mean by that is, like, sure, I could talk to people in between sets and chat or whatever, but I find that I have zero difficulty actually getting into the zone, actually, throwing my fucking weight around. And it almost feels like the lift ends like in an instant. So almost feel like I entered the flow state, as it were. And then I think another thing that helped with that was I didn't get too anxious about the squats. I was talking about this in my last leg day, that I'm trying to reach a point of like fucking enlightenment where I don't even need to get hyped up to do a hard set of squats. I just kind of walk up to the bar and do it. And I kind of felt like that today. So, are we looking pumped? Jesus, dude, I fucking feel pumped, that's for sure. Ugh. Fucking veins popping out of nowhere. I'll be looking from the back. Dude, I gotta fucking sit down. My lower back is still so fucking pumped from those squats. Like, it's almost hard to fucking stand up. Yeah, definitely satisfied with this leg day. Effort-wise, definitely satisfied. But also, everything just kind of fucking clicked. Hamstring curls felt sick. Felt super strong in the leg extension. Knees weren't bothered at all when I did those 2 sets of squats. I think after warming up with leg extensions, my whole fucking system is just primed for going heavy, because that did not bother my adductors at all. Like these kind of muscles in here, which like squeeze your legs together. These have kind of been bothering me on heavy squats, but I don't feel it at all when I do leg extensions before the squats. So this is sick, man. I'm definitely going to follow this basic style for the, you know, for at least the rest of the bulk, unless I find out some new shit about some kind of leg press superset or whatever. But quads, hamstrings fully stimulated. I'm going to go camp out on the adductor machine and then pop my butt on the seated calf machine. Get a calf and a fucking adductor pump. But that'll just be for me. I'll only add in those extras every couple leg days to fucking spice it up. But let's get in the fucking car, man. Solid ass fucking leg day. That is for damn sure. All right. So that was a pretty fucking solid lift. Intensity was there. I felt nice and fed, nice and hydrated, and pretty well rested. Actually woke up before my alarm went off. So, I don't know. That kind of seems like a sign that my circadian rhythm is in at least a reasonable tune. So, fucking badass. Now, so what time did I, what time was I in the car on the way here? Like 2:30? It's fucking 6 o'clock right now. The lift, it didn't take that long. I was done in like an hour and a half. And then when I was doing adductors and calves, I freaking was just taking my time, walking around, chatting. And then once I finished them, I was still just walking around fucking chatting. So I'm definitely a little bit behind when it comes to the calories, the actual meals. But right now it's not too much of a problem for me. As the bulk progresses, and it's actually going to get more difficult for me to get all these fucking calories in, then I'd be a little bit more, let's just say, strict on myself to make sure I'm eating like every, you know, so-and-so amount of hours. I don't just like eat every 2 hours or anything, but I'd say around 2 to 3. That gives me a decent, let's just say, like rate of intake, where it's not too hard for me to actually get to that, you know, 5,000-6,000 calorie level. So I think right now I'm at about 3,000 calories. I still got to track some other stuff that I had earlier. I don't think I plugged in my rice or that little thing of lemonade I drank. But, you know, now I just got a solidly sized post-workout meal and then another big one before bed. And that should be about freaking right. So, when it comes to cardio on a bulk, obviously I think you know my fucking stance: cardio, bulking, cutting, maintaining, whatever. I will hear sometimes that people will chill on the cardio post legs, like the day after leg day. They won't do their cardio because their legs are sore. Which, I mean, you know, reasonable point. I kind of understand what you're getting at there. But I don't know, I still like it. Even if I can still feel my quads firing a little bit when I'm on the seated bike tomorrow morning, or even the day afterwards, you know, I'm not stressing it so much as to, you know, impede the recovery process, I feel. You know, and if you are worried about that, then, look, man, just walk on the treadmill. You know, the only reason I don't walk on the treadmill is because it takes a little bit too long. Like, I can sit on the recumbent bike, if we want to get all technical with it, and in 30 minutes, the machine can say that I burned 300 calories. Whether or not that's exactly right, whatever, I don't really... It's an amount of cardio where after about, you know, 15 minutes, I start sweating. And then at the end of it, I'm pretty much drenched. That's kind of my grading scale on the cardio in a sense. But, you know, whatever number of calories you burned, or at least that the machine says you burned, it's really not that important. It's really not that important, right? What's really important with the cardio is just raising your heart rate above baseline by a considerable degree. I mean, you want to be in at least the maybe low to mid hundreds, and then, you know, just do whatever you're doing to get your heart rate that high for, you know, fucking 20-30 minutes, right? So when you say like, oh, I play basketball after I lift and I break a sweat, or like, you know, I do soccer, that's fucking cardio. You know, you don't have to just sit on the bike. But I think, well, actually, I don't think, I know that if on a daily basis, right, you raise your fucking heart rate up for a reasonable amount of time, maybe, I say 20, I probably really mean more like 30 minutes, then I think it's going to be fucking good for you. Better metabolism. You're not going to get so gassed because your cardio is just going to be better from doing it, right? So that's really the part which kind of translates to better gains for me, the better metabolism and the better cardio, because that means it's going to be easier for me to get food down. You know, when people say like, why would you do cardio in a bulk? Then you're going to have to eat more food to counteract the amount of energy that you just burned. I mean, you're right, but in practice, it's not it's not like that's a problem. You know, by doing that 300 calories worth of cardio, or, you know, whatever value it actually ends up being, you're creating a fucking need in your body where you're going to want to eat more calories to kind of fucking compensate. So you're not going to have trouble getting down an extra 300 calories worth of food just because you burned 300 calories on the bike. You know, I think that's just a what's the word I'm trying to think, a mindset or sort of a piece of logic which stems from just looking for an excuse not to do it, you know. So can't overstate it. Cannot freaking overstate it. Your 30 minutes of cardio, ideally daily, but you know, if you do it every so often, that's still better than nothing. That is gonna do you freaking good. I'm sure I would have had to fucking, I mean, just today, legs especially will really, you know, get me going in terms of fucking huffing and puffing. So if I didn't do any cardio, you know, I'd be fucking dying after that set of squats. You know, it would have taken me, I think that second set was maybe 5-ish minutes, maybe 4 minutes after the first set of squats. If I didn't do any cardio, I mean, that could fucking, I guess I don't know how long I'd be resting trying to catch my breath, right? It just makes sense. Have I named one downside? Apart from the fact that you just have to actually get off your stinking butt and do it? Not that comes to mind. So, enough of this little rant. Once I get home, I think I'm gonna cook up a pound of ground beef, mix in like 4 or 5 slices of pepper jack cheese, some full sugar Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, another little contradiction of, well, not a contradiction, but another example of something where there is a fucking low-calorie alternative. You know, when I was cutting down, I'd probably eat the same meal, but instead of full-fat pepper jack cheese, and instead of full sugar barbecue sauce, it would have been obviously low-sugar barbecue sauce, and then fat-free cheese. Or, I mean, fucking no cheese if fat-free cheese isn't available. Right? When you're... This is kind of off topic because we're bulking now. But when you're dieting, you can, for the most part, eat whatever you want. But you kind of got to work within the constraints of whatever your calorie limit is if you want to actually stick to a deficit and, you know, lose body fat. But whatever, let's jump to some conclusive statements. Legs pumped. I'm kind of actually, I was there for a little bit too long. I'm hungry right now. So legs pumped. Post-workout meal. Hungry for. Cardio in the morning, as well as chest and side delts tomorrow. Excited for. That pretty much fucking describes my state of being right now. So I'm gonna go home, eat. That's the freaking end of it. Solid leg day under the belt. Ideally, you had a solid lift as well. And if you didn't, fucking try to use that as motivation to kind of hype you up to do a better one next time. You know, I just did that like a week and a half ago or so. I don't know. I had a leg day where I know I was going easy. I know I was kind of taking my foot off the gas with the squats. I racked it before I really hit failure. And I was like, that's fucking bullshit. Let's get real for the next one. Then the next day, leg day was good, man. You can convert, I don't want to say a fuck up, but you can kind of hype yourself up off of your past mistakes and sort of use that to fucking go harder next time. You know, I feel like I've said this before kind of a while ago, but if you can somehow internally twist up, either by way of delusion or fucking discipline or motivation or whatever, any external circumstance, event, you know, words, whatever, if you can kind of somehow in your mind twist that into fucking internal hype, then you're gonna have an easy time going hard. Enough of this little ramble session. You gotta, if you're bulking, I know you gotta fucking eat. And if you're cutting down, well, fuck, man, I guess you're not in a rush to eat either. Or to eat anyway, but whatever. Go watch something else or go to bed if you're watching this late at night. I'll freaking see you next time.